By the way, Neil has decided that now is the time to 3-bet kings. Now, it's a really
she's
strong
after him
play
for
under this sort of pressure.
She played it to get the absolute lot. That was brilliant.
We're at the all-in, and she's. This is a bit of good news for Katie at this stage.
Yeah.
Well, that is bad news for Katie Swift.
When these things happen and they've gone low, she's still there to play.
Katie Swift all in. I mean, she has been, for me, she has been the revelation of this tournament so far.
Yes, great hand to find with her stack, and it's a 10 or nothing. Oh. We could be about to lose the strongest player in the field here. He'll take it in his stride more than anybody. It's another day at the office for him.
What did other players make of Jeremy Pantin? He's not going to go away. Except they're second in chips. And Maria's down to 40 bigs. Geez, 220. This is a big pay jump. 150 to 220, 220 to 350. Hello, darling.
Yeah, you make a chunk every time someone goes out now. All the more reason to not want to put all your chips into only one pot, unless you got them strangled.
When he does that, I'm just betting he has such bad breath.
No, they all do it now. I don't think it should
I
be allowed.
mean, they are going to have to bring in a rule about this.
Yeah, I mean,
Breath mints?
There's got to be. There's got to be a line. I mean, if you came in with a cardboard box over your head or whatever. I mean,
I remember you came on our radio show, on our TV show in Vegas.
With a paper bag over my head.
The unknown poker player.
Yes, right.
That's one of the greatest.
Yeah.
That was one of the greatest interviews we've ever done.
But you've just outed me, Jesse. Nobody knew it was me.
For those of you who've been wondering since 2006 who was the unknown poker player
It's out of the bag.
that wore a brown paper bag over his head and predicted he was going to win millions at the World Series. It was a joke all along. It was Barney
Really,
Boat.
I think the greatest part of the entire production that we did was having Annie Duke and Marcel Lusk on. They did a 3-hour show with them where they were unbelievable, arguing everything, and then we told them we'd lost the tapes.
Well, we did have to.
The show never went out.
I mean, but that's not fair. We did have the audio, just forgot to turn on the camera.
Jacob, once again.
I would tell you what, we weren't the only ones. Ian Langstaff and I interviewed Shane Warne in Vegas.
With no film.
Without turning the camera on. And then I went and had a few beers with Warren and Langstaff, and then we had a few more beers. And then we went to have a look at the thing we'd done. I think it was for Sky or something. Sky Sports. And so then we had to do it again. The second one was way better after the beer.
Does anybody think that Maria is being too passive pre-flop with this hand?
I mean, this is obviously very dependent on who the raiser is. It's Jacob.
Yeah, I think you're right, Jesse. I mean,
she does not want to play for.
Oh my God! Having said that,
everybody's
is going to.
But this is.
It's Mateusz that has the 8-9.
Yeah, but Jacob's not going anywhere.
I
think we're going to find out whether they've done a deal on the golden chip fairly shortly.
Okay, now Jacob, the raiser, he feels he's hit his flop. Maria, we know is just going to call. I mean, you and I race here, right?
Well, it is a spot where an Omaha player will be way more scared by this flop.
She doesn't know anything about what they've got yet. She's called one raise from Jacob, and Mateusz has called out of the big blind. She doesn't know how much they've all smashed this flop. It's quite unlikely. Of course, if she thinks Jacob's got an overpair, you know, of course it'd be great. It'd be great to raise here. It's often the case when you smash a flop this hard and hold them that you're a bit of a rabbit in the headlights trying to work out how the hell not to lose your customers.
Or I mean, is she working out if there's any way she doesn't go broke in this pot if she has to, you know?
Anyway, she's gone for the call, right? No, she's not. She's not thinking about backing off. She's not. You know.
This woman is. She's. I me's nearly.
She's relaxed, Jesse. She's.
Well, I mean,
She's very gutsy.
Look at what's Mateusz going to do?
She's got you.
What's Mateusz going to do? I mean, he was probably planning to raise Jacob, very likely, but now that she's called, all the alarms are going up. He can't. He's folded it.
Oh my God!
Second pair and up and down.
About the chip deal, Parg. The answer is no.
And the fact that she's folded it makes it harder for Jacob because you know he's got a real hand.
But
she's supposed to be drawing here a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But I think he, you know, and he's going
She's supposed to be drawn here all of the time. Near enough.
Jeez, that was an amazing fold by Mateusz. That was amazing as far as I'm still trying to work it out.
Right, and it was incredible, and that's the respect he's got for Maria. I think the fact that he laid that hand down. But I mean, I don't even know if it's right. I mean, he's the only one with he's the only one who's got only one with an 8 in his hand.
I think the man might have some respect for money.
Yeah,
her boyfriend's a poker player. He must have lots of money.
She's not.
Well, in that case, I mean, I just tip my hat. You know, this is why I just am in awe of people who play this game well, because how you can be worried about anything.
I can see why you might be.
He's supposed to fold here, isn't he, against her?
Yeah.
He's got second pair in the gut shot. Yeah.
This would be absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's not strong enough.
I mean, I've loved the way Jacob's been playing for the last 2 days, but this would just be
murdering your chips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This would be suicide.
I think he finds the fold. We've seen him find the fold, but yeah, that's good. I mean,
that would have been absolute.
She's a little bit disappointed, maybe. But
show us the river card.
What I want to know is, every time after she lays her hand down, she turns around and whispers to the guy. Is she telling him the truth?
Of course she is. This has been a great event. I mean, this is.
It's been all right.
it's
fun. Oh, it's been great fun. But at the table here, I have not heard a guy castigated for his play. I mean, we have been playing for £6 million. I mean, some of us for longer than others, or for, should I say, less time than others. But I mean, it has been played in a fantastic spirit. And,
it's true. I mean, obviously,
and I think that's a tribute to all the players who've played here, because it is an awful lot of money. And everybody's behaved themselves.
It's true, and it's the setup too, and the people they've got involved, and the people running the thing is everything about it. We've seen people get very emotional, and certainly people getting knocked out, and
that's understandable.
Yeah.
He's nearly like, I'm starting to think he's like this Daniel Negreanu character, Mateusz, who just does not like the 3-bet. When's the last time the man put a 3-bet in, for crying out loud?
And as Jacob just called as well. No, Jacob put the 3-bet in. Okay.
Jacob's a man who knows how to put a 3-bet in.
Yeah.
And
God, you guys are all over this. I don't know what I'm doing here.
Can I mention that Mateusz is in a bit of trouble here because he'll feel like he's under-repped his hand right now, and he's in position. Is it as simple as a call, or more might he decide that he can win it here with a 4-bet?
Well, I mean, Jeremy's also working out. I'm going to say Jeremy's working out whether he's priced in here because there's 2 of them out there. And,
can he take a few chips back? If you really want to know.
He's thinking about Polish fondue.
Mateusz just
I'm very disappointed this guy isn't from Switzerland.
Mark, there was a player from Switzerland in yesterday. His name was Chris Bigler. There was a Swiss player in
That's
yesterday.
right, Chris Bigler. I mean, I expect Jacob to bet at this.
If he doesn't bet at it, he's not going to win this pot, is he?
Well, Jacob's. Well, I don't know. He's got the best hand. I mean, he's the most aggressive player. He won't bet. He won't win on the street if he doesn't bet. That's for sure. But he's going to.
God,
I love nothing better than to be exposed for what I truly am.
Yeah. There's only 8 cards in the deck.
Wow. Well, I mean, it's an easy fault for Jeremy, not so easy for Mateusz. I don't know what Jeremy's.
Well, he's not making it look very easy. I mean, with Mateusz behind him, who could very well have a king, it would seem like a very inopportune time.
He could very well be beating Queen High anyway, whatever he's got.
No, what I mean
is
is there any reason for making a play here?
No. I think it's just the I had a real hand well up, isn't it? And but Mateusz, I wouldn't be. It's not so straightforward for him. There's one other card to his pair. He knows that Jay could put a squeeze on effectively and could have it. But he gets away. He doesn't mind. He doesn't mind that he might have been bluffed.
He gets bluffed.
We've got a beauty here on Twitter.
Sometimes you get bluffed.
There's a guy called James Flynn who says, cheers for the shout out, Porrick. Jimmy here. 50% of your viewership. I'm watching on Facebook Live. If you can make it here by the end of the day, Jimmy, you're in the commentary box.
Sweet. I'll take the rest of the day off.
I'm having trouble seeing any other winner of this event right now besides Maria. She's
So what's new? I like the logo, Party Poker Live. I'm sure Johnny thought he had something to do with that. It's probably a logo he picked up in a second-hand shop when he was buying the suit jacket.
This has been a great event. I mean, this is.
It's been all right.
No, it's. It's fun. It's fun.
Oh, it's been great fun. Look at the.
I don't know about the rest of you, but it's been so long since there was this kind of fun in poker.
Yeah, well, I must say I've been here a week.
Now I have fun,
and I haven't heard out in that card room or at the table a bad word been spoken to anybody.
We usually wait till you've gone out of the room.
Behind the back part.
Well, I'm familiar with that part.
I'm familiar with the language, but
that's just part of people being jealous of me being such a good guy. I mean, I've had to live with that all my life. Like another 24 hours won't bother me.
He must have a good sense of humor anyway. I mean.
I hope he's got some other more reliable customers who are still going to be coming to see him next year.
Well, that's exactly what the doctor ordered as far as Jonathan's concerned.
Oh, nice segue.
I'm nothing if not quick at the cliches.
How could Jennifer Tilly be
rich? Maria, by the way, who's been 100% on the button raises. That's the second time, isn't it, that Jeremy flatted in the small blind with the big ace. Did it with the ace-9. He's.
That's a shame for Maria. I don't think I've seen her make a raise with that kind of hand at all in the 2 days we've been playing.
She's been raising every button since they went 5-handed. She's raised every button.
Okay, cool.
What?
Yeah, but apart from that, you were bang on.
Yeah, well, I said with that kind of hand. She's been raising with that kind of hand, yeah?
Well, she did it with a Jack-9.
No, that's not that kind of hand. Jack-9's massive compared to a Queen-6.
This is an education.
Interesting thing about... Oh, gosh. I was going to say interesting thing about... Yeah, you know, I would say the reason I'm not crazy about this is because Parg, he made a call in a small blind to Maria's with an ace-9 earlier, so certainly the players would be aware that he is... You know what I mean?
It was a question of how many chips he had committed and the fact that he knew an ace was going to come on the flop.
It was a pretty big re-raise. I mean, it was what was 12 up to 100. So it wasn't inconsequential.
Yeah, I think it was supposed to be a fold, wasn't it? I think you're right, and this is very, very unfortunate for Jon.
I mean, you know, you can call if you say, well, it's just.
Yeah, he thought some of the time Jonathan was squeezing with King Queen or whatever. You know, I mean, and he factored that in.
Well,
I
with
mean,
the
it's
dead
fair
money.
enough. In some, you know.
Some of the time he would. I mean, what would you have done with King Queen and Jonathan's shoes there?
coming into the river.
You're
Jonathan
absolutely
would have
right,
wished he
Marty.
was
If you had had King Queen, if you had King Jack, if you had 10 Jack suited, if you maybe if you had 8-6 suited, you were going to shove there, right?
Yeah. Quite possibly. Quite possibly.
Yep, that's how it goes. And Jeremy Pantin is the big chip leader. Some of those.
He wasn't just calling to spike an ace against a pair of kings anyway. That was only part of his plan, and that's very, very unfortunate. We've seen a very popular and very strong player leave the table, and 220,000, not bad, but he was up for the mill.
Yeah, something's gotta change. 'Cause I have had enough. Yeah, someone's gotta change.
You've been called on that flop. You sometimes give up on the river. Not always, but I probably would have led the turn and given up on the river personally.
I just wonder if it makes a lot of sense for guys like Mateusz and Maria to be checking back that flop if they have people who aren't really going to play back. I mean, who aren't really going to try and give them trouble. I don't know.
Well, but Jeremy does give trouble. Oh, you meant Mateusz, yeah, right.
Or, I don't know. No, I honestly don't know. I was just thinking back on what I was saying and realized it didn't make any sense at all. So,
Right, let's move on to the next hand.
Take it how you want.
Let's move on to the next hand as quickly as
I really
possible.
want to know what that tattoo is. That we
I already have. I'm just waiting for you guys to catch up.
Do you think it's Jeremy's tattoo? It's obviously a phrase. I'm guessing it could be Latin.
Can we zoom in on it, please?
Well, you can't. You can only see half of it.
Well, we can zoom in on half of it. Try and have a viewer's prize for who could guess what the other one.
Should have a trivia question.
Yeah, what
I'd
colour was
like Maria
Mateusz's
to
jumper
bet this.
yesterday?
I would like Maria to bet.
Answers on a postcard and send them to whoever you like.
Does anybody think Maria's playing a little bit too passively?
This is her MO. She's checked back second pair. She's done it every time.
Yeah, but there's so many dangerous turn cards. I mean, obviously there are some that help her hand as well. But okay, it's worked. It's worked because look, there is the golden. What's it behind his flag? I mean, she doesn't know where she is, but she having underrepped her second pair, it wouldn't be right to just fold her, would it?
I don't think so.
She's never raising ever.
You know, you can think of how many times she has checked back the flop after raising the flop, and it's not just heads up, but three-handed. I mean, it's part
And
of
the
her.
great thing is, I mean, Mateusz is very unlikely to try and steal it again because he knows how big a hand she can do this with.
I don't know, and I don't know. I mean, I actually don't know what's going to happen if Mateusz bets big here. I wouldn't.
He certainly knows
Well,
it's the only way he can win the pot.
Well, I'm pretty sure he's not going to bet big.
Against any other, well, okay, he's going for it. He's thinking about it for sure. Against any other player, he definitely would.
I think he's going for it because, as I said, it was time to change the plan.
Well, he may be
Yeah,
thinking...
but he
man,
needs to
Mateusz.
think that she's changed her plan too, of just calling behind with big hands.
She hasn't made a lot of huge river calls. She's been.
Yeah, but she doesn't need to make a huge river call here. I mean, she's actually hit a 9. She's beating an 8 now. You know, I mean.
Well, she's only beating. Yeah, I mean, she's only beating a bluff. Right?
Which is...
But yeah, well, that's.
Well, the traditional play, if you check back second pair, is to go call, right? I mean, that's the traditional way to play
Well,
it,
if-
right?
Well,
if
it does depend a bit
if-
on how they run out as well.
If
yeah.
Mateusz said 9-10, I mean, he could be value betting.
I don't know. What do you?
She's calling. She's got a call. Her hand's just too strong.
Well, it's a good call because she has to decide that this is the first time he's bluffing. You know what I mean? I mean, he does not have history for
What's
this.
she counting out here? How much is she counting?
That's
That is a
40
call.
million.
That is a call.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, she has to decide this is the first time he's bluffing. This is definitely, we've been talking, we've seen all his cards.
She's getting 5-2.
Yeah, but this is definitely weird for him,
Well,
Park.
so, I mean, I've often taken 5-2 about a 20-1 shot. You didn't hear me bitching about it.
I say she's called and she's hating life at the moment. She'll be loving it in a second.
She's made a lot of good decisions. She has made it. She has to call because she's made so many good decisions.
She kept the pot small. You know, if she's wrong, she's done the minimum, and this is how she plays.
She's calling. She just doesn't know she is.
You guys got it all wrong. He's terrified of her. He wouldn't value bet anything. If he had anything with showdown value here, he would have checked it. He's not making a value bet against her. He's been watching the game too.
We know that.
Well, he hasn't been doing much else.
You had long enough. There's only £1 million for first prize.
Yeah.
Good call.
Excellent call. Well done.
And he did not even show. I love that she didn't show either.
Well, I think he was reasonably confident he was behind.
You know, that's the second player at this final table that she's basically taken out of the tournament by virtue of letting them hang themselves. I mean, she did it with Neil. This is the same thing. Mateusz was sitting there like a log. And he's finally.
And it's great that she didn't have to show down because they don't know the strength of the hand that she called down with. So they're still going to be petrified of her once she makes that first call. So Mateusz has dropped down through the field, down to bottom in chips now. And under a little bit of pressure, and Jacob's going to be applying the pressure to him. And you're right, he has, even if he's been making a lot of good laydowns, he's going to have to change his game up now.
Yes, well, doing half your stack on the bluff was not.
That didn't help.
That's not the way he intended it.
It's not to say it's not an honourable profession. I mean, if you can't do half your chips on the bluff, well, then maybe you should start thinking about maybe you should have stuck the whole lot. You might have got through. I mean, you're supposed to be bluffing, right?
So Maria must be thinking about shoving here. I don't know what she's got, but she must be thinking about shoving on him. He's only got 20-something.
Well, there's a first time for everything.
Yeah.
She's only ever made a call.
Well, I mean, if she has a hand like ace-8 or something like that, is she supposed to just lop it all in there and see if he calls?
It's true with the size
If she's
stack
got
that
a
he's
hand
got.
like ace-8, there's absolutely no way in this godly earth she's going to do that.
Well, that's
I don't know
right.
what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Now we know.
She's counting out a relays.
So you're saying she is far better than ace-8?
Yeah, I think that.
Could be king.
I think that's guaranteed. If she is changing it up against a player who's gone short and has just tried to bluff her in a pot,
I think she
then
has.
that's great.
I think
that's
she's
absolutely
airballed.
great.
I think she's airballed.
But it will
God,
be.
I wish you would.
Yes.
Christ almighty.
Park.
Yes.
Now you now know it's time to go.
And we're joined by the great Mike Sexton, who is going to take over from Jesse and take the lead in the commentary for a while now. Welcome, Mike.
Well, it's good to be with you guys. The next one out gets £320,000. The winner, £1 million. So big paydays for all these players wherever they finish, no doubt about it. What's really amazing about this, you can actually accumulate over $1 billion in chips and still lose a poker tournament. Can you imagine?
That has to be the first time.
It's nuts. Isn't it?
It'd be pretty neat to play 5 and 10 million blinds, million ante.
You started this tournament with $1 million chips if you bought in on day one, and that's going to be the ante. Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping to go to all the party poker, all the party poker live events possible. I think they're phenomenal value. Just great opportunity for players to make some big money. They can qualify on phase ones on online and casino partners, as well as down there at the venue. So it's just a great opportunity for a chance to make $1 million. They're guaranteeing $1 million first place prize at all these Party Poker live events. So
yeah, I mean it's great, Mike. You know, people were asking earlier, oh, when are the qualifiers going to start for this event for next year? Thinking, oh, this is just the greatest event ever. But actually, I mean, when you listen to Rob Young talk, and it's what he's going to do. Basically, this event is going to be repeated in 5 or 6 different locations around the world. They're going to have the same qualifying structure, the same tournament structure, the same prize pools. I mean, it's pretty amazing.
It's good to see the little guy not getting left behind, even though this thing has gone big and it's gone global. And of course, we got the Grand Prix coming up in Dublin next weekend. 150,000 guaranteed for 340.
Well, the beauty, as you say, Pork, is that everybody, with every bankroll, has an opportunity to participate in these Party Poker events, whether they're Grand Prix events, whether they're Party Poker live events, where they're guaranteeing $5 million prize pool with $1 million for first. But the opportunity is out there for those that want to reach out, try to grab the brass ring, go for the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And to me, that's what it's all about. Dreaming to make the big score, to put your life a little bit on easier street, and certainly opportunity is there.
Or to get gambling a bit bigger.
It is, but there's a little more. I was just reading that Katie Swift, apparently she qualified for this for 100 pounds or 120 pounds. And, I mean, it's not just the money. It's also the opportunity to show you can play. You know what I mean? She's someone, she's obviously been running around the local scene for a while. She got in here deep on the big stage, and she showed people her game, which is...
Yeah,
I mean, unbelievable.
There's a whole load of big game
class
players around here this weekend. You know, the structure is so fair. I don't see nobody going around complaining or making excuses. We got outplayed, got beat, and...
the beauty is everyone that watches live streams, everyone that watches the World Poker Tour, they're all sitting at home watching these big name players, and they're all saying, geez, I can play as good as that guy. I should be out there playing for $1 million.
Well,
and they're right.
Well, the answer is they're right some of the time.
Yeah. That's correct.
Not more than you think.
All right, nice flop for Maria here, top pair.
She just flatted the end of the gun raise from Jacob.
Jacob now has the worst hand, obviously.
He's no stranger to that.
And I think...
God, he
slipped it.
Has he checked?
He's absolutely slipped it.
Yeah, I don't know why Maria's taking such a long time to bet here.
Is there any reason not to bet? I mean, she is a person who has checked back. She's got a pot control sort of thing, and she checks back a lot. But against 2 players, Mike?
Impossible to check here.
Right.
You just can't, any overcard just shut you down completely. You just can't check here.
Do you find that
what I really like about this girl is that, you know, they're playing for huge money. They've been playing for it for days. But she looks so composed, and she stops and she thinks about it. I mean, whether she's got a monster or a marginal hand, but she you know, she gives it a lot of thought, and she ain't going to go to this tournament making a mistake because she didn't consider all the possibilities, and that's great composure on the huge stage.
Well, there's always a big difference between the kind of people who take a lot of time and the people who give it a lot of thought. You know what I mean, Bart?
Yeah, yeah.
Here's the case. They both check to you. It's an automatic bet. I mean, what do you need to take time for? You just bet.
You're desperate for that shot clock, aren't you, Mike?
Oh, boy.
Oh, God, yeah. I'm with Mike.
Don't get me started on that. The action.
Get him started on that.
But it is. I mean, it is, you know, the game, we can't be playing the game in 2054 the same way we were playing the game in 1954.
Some of us are.
Let me tell you, we just used the action clock at the WPT Tournament of Champions. Virtually at least 90% of the players loved it, absolutely loved it.
And the 10% that didn't love it, we don't need them there anyway.
Exactly.
I mean, how much time do they think we have on this planet?
I would say 95%, honestly, rather than just 90. But it just makes the game so much better.
Sorry, Mateusz check shoved here with the second pair. I mean, it's the kind of play I think we were advocating him to make a little earlier, Mike, but it's the first time he's done it. And now that he's done it, he's totally wrong. I mean, maybe not wrong.
Well, you can't blame him.
No.
But he didn't raise pre-flop.
No.
So you're not going to put him on an overpair in that spot at all. The only thing you might be scared of is he flopped 3 5s.
Well, especially with his stack size.
But other than that, there's not a hand you're going to fear in this spot.
Why did he decide to do it now? don't really. Did he decide maybe that there's not a lot of tens in Maria's range?
Well, maybe because we were talking about she stalled so long. Maybe he thought she's just making a move, so he decided to make a move on top of her.
Well, she's well capable of folding this.
I guess she could be vulnerable to King 10.
You're talking about another 100 million here.
And she will be aware. Oh, she's just called him out.
She has called.
Well, she has to call. Well, she's
He
wincing like
declined
he's
it,
got the best hand.
She really is.
Maybe she's wincing because he's got outs. Maybe she didn't want him to have any outs. You know, who knows? Well, now
She's got her wish.
he has no outs.
He has no outs, no golden chip, and very soon no scarf. And Maria has won the pot, but let's remember that Jacob has just won 100,000 pounds.
Well,
On top of what he wins here at this table. Well, we were talking about it should have been an instant bet for her because she took so long to bet those 2 tens. He didn't think she had it, and he committed all his chips, and it cost him. But
Jacob Mulhern is he the very first golden chip winner? Is this the first time they've had the golden chip?
well, they've had it in the Grand Prix events.
All right.
But this is the first time, obviously, in
a big tournament like this.
this is where there was going to be a guaranteed payout.
As
It just had to last longer, not win the tournament.
Right.
With the golden chip.
It floors me. I'm floored that they would give $100,000 bonus money on top of the prize money.
That's guaranteed.
Whatever you win, that's
Yeah.
guaranteed if you outlast everybody else that has a chip. Really, you could have literally come in like 16th and won the extra 100,000.
Jacob is slightly taking his foot off the gas as far as I don't think he's as intimidating as he was earlier as far as just being a bit unpredictable. He's been a lot more predictable today. He has been very aggressive, small blind, big blind. When we got in here, we saw him make the move with the queen 6.
Got an extra 100,000 pounds in the pocket here.
I'd say there's a lot of people who are wondering about that golden chip who played in this tournament and thought, hold it. All I had to do was qualify this way, and I would have had a free roll for an extra 100 grand.
It's unbelievable. I mean, it really is like one of the greatest promotions in the history of poker, I think.
Well, the thing about it that's great is that it doesn't even matter if they meet the guarantee or not. That Rob's going to do his 100,000 anyway. It was like he was trying to find out a way he was insured to lose money.
Oh, he's well capable of that. I mean, talk about giving the players a break. I mean, you know, we're not here just to beat Rob's drum, but I mean, this is genuine. Like, I mean, he is giving the players a break. He's giving them a hell of a break.
And I've been around a long time, and I want to say that the poker players don't deserve it.
Not the ones we know.
Well, as the Party Poker Live president, John Duthie, says, this is a tour for the players. And is he right? These kind of whopping guarantees, the opportunity for the little guy to get in these tournaments, the added money, the prize money, it's just massive. It's just incredible. And if you're a poker player, believe me, it does open your eyes and you say, hey, you know, you want to support those people, and rightfully so.
Yeah. If you don't, you're nuts.
It was a bit of an action card on a dry board.
Yeah. That was. It looked like it was just going to peter out, and now everybody's got a little something.
Go on, Jacob. Why call when you can raise? That's the man I know. It's a nice question to ask Jeremy, isn't it?
It's a great hand to raise with right here. The semi-bluff, as we call it. If you get called, you've got outs to win the pot, but
I mean, Jacob easily could have.
Look at this.
Wow, I would say Jacob easily could be slow playing a queen here. I think, right? I mean, it's not. Jeez, Jeremy's got an opinion. Oh, come a deuce. I want to see a big bluff. Come a deuce.
Oh my God.
uh-oh.
Oh, that's
This is
just
gonna be-
cruel. Well, that's just cruel.
This is going to be tapioca pudding for Jeremy.
Absolutely.
Seriously.
Well, if
It's going
Jeremy
to be
can-
very difficult for him not to go for his whole stack
Wait,
here.
If Jeremy can get out of this, we never hear of Houdini again.
I think the one thing that Jacob has not done wrong is he has not bet too small. He went stack size. It looked to me like 100 million, yeah.
115 million.
I mean, it's
God, I mean, the heart to...
It's an automatic call. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it.
no-brainer.
You have to call here. It was the Joker. The best card for Jacob, the worst card for Jeremy. There it was, a 10 on the river. that wasn't the 10 of hearts where the flush was up there as well.
There's his rail. There's a bunch of local guys. Jacob has certainly got some supporters there. The only thing better than winning £1 million is watching your friend do it while you drink beer on him. What odds will you give me that there's at least 2 guys in that rail that he doesn't know their name? There has to be
There's at least 2 guys there that are going to introduce themselves before the day is over. First year I was in Vegas when Dan Harrington won the World Series. Was it 96 or whatever?
95. 95.
95 was it? I'm older than the time.
You can't try and put that past me and Mike.
Yeah. Eskimo had a whole big brochure done up, homemade, of his results in tournaments. And any guy that looked like he might have a few quid, Eskimo gave him a read of this while explaining why it was a very good idea to stake him. I mean, he was light years ahead of his time. You know, there was none of that go check me out on the Hendon mob. Here, I got it right here, pal.
That's actually quite good.
Do you remember that story? I remember it was you told me what happened with Jeff Lysandra when Eskimo was playing, I think it was a 2,500 Oma 8 or better tournament out in the tent out the back at the Rio. And Mike's playing in the tournament. He was my informant on this one. So Eskimos had a heart attack or a stroke or something in the middle of the thing, but he had a decent enough stack. And so they came and they took him away in the ambulance. And Mike was said he wanted 3-1 on Eskimo to be back in the last longer bet with Eskimo stack. And he couldn't get on. Nobody was going to lay this. Eskimo went to the hospital, told everybody he was okay, and he's back in. But Jeff Lysandra had stuck him in. And I remember Mike was telling me later that Jeff Lysandra said that anybody else wanted to be staked would have to produce a medical certificate first. That's what happened, Mike, isn't it?
Yeah. He came right back and played. I know that.
Yeah, and he nearly had a stroke. He was drooling at the final table of the Raz that year.
Eskimo is one of those unique characters in the poker world, like the old school guys, like a Puggy Pearson, an Amarillo Slim, a Stu Unger, a Jack Strauss, an Eskimo. We just don't have those kind of characters anymore, do we, Jesse?
No,
thanks, Peter.
The thing about Eskimo, I mean, when he had money, he played high, didn't he?
I mean, Mike said he was great for the game because when Eskimo had money, he used to still sleep in the car and eat off comps.
All he wanted to do was gamble.
If you lost money to Eskimo in a tournament or a cash game, it was all in play the next day.
Back in the 90s, Mansour Matloubi told me when they were considering it was time for the Hall of Fame for somebody else to be inducted way back then, you know. And he said, you have to induct Eskimo in the Hall of Fame. He said, you have to. I said, really? I said, why? He said, hey, he's got enough results. He said, but the difference is, he says that he is the greatest player for a poker room in the history of poker. Yeah. He said, when he sits down and plays, the game fills up. He never quits until he's gone completely broke. And if he does win and somehow the game breaks up,
he goes higher.
He doesn't have a girlfriend. He doesn't have a mortgage payment. He sleeps in the truck. He brings all the money back the next day and plays again.
And he playing the biggest game in the place.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's the thing. There aren't, a lot of guys.
And the next day he'd be going around with this brochure.
You know, he sleeps in the truck.
Offering guys a unique opportunity to stake him in whatever the hell tournament they were playing the next day. And you can be sure that Eskimo's brochure included a good result in whatever the next day tournament.
But there just aren't a lot of guys who, they'll be in the morning, not able to afford a cup of coffee. By evening, they'll be in the 400, 800 game. And fearless in the 400, 800 game. Scary, too.
I've seen Eskimo literally stake like 3 or 4 guys in a tournament. And he wouldn't play himself unless he got staked. I mean, now think about that.
Huh? Oh, my God.
I tell you, why are you playing? I didn't get staked. And he's taking 3 guys in the tournament.
Do you know how crazy that is?
Yeah.
I believe you.
Wasn't he the man who invented the the selling of the 184% or something like that. Didn't he get in the final of a tournament?
We know who that was.
Yeah.
But
Here's a big pot brewing here, guys.
Maria's 3-bet it, and Jeremy's called.
It's a beautiful flop right there for Maria. Ever you have 2 10s and no overcards come out there, you're breathing a sigh of relief.
I guess there's a lot of people who say when you peel off the 3-bet in position, you have to call a bet on the flop. But Jeremy doesn't have that many chips left, and he doesn't have much of a
You
hand.
have to call a bet on the flop.
Oh, it's the young guys, Parg. It's like the float. You know, it's like the
But if
the
you
peel, the float. You know.
Yeah, but floating all in isn't a very good idea. I've tried it, I promise you, it's no good.
Well, Maria is running well, playing well. It doesn't seem possible Jeremy could even consider making any kind of call or play here. She's never, ever, ever going to put him on an overpair in this spot. But not 4-betting.
No.
I mean, Amish has got a couple backdoor draws, but he doesn't have enough chips where he can mess around here. Gives it up. Where's Maria from?
Well, I believe she's Argentinian. However,
She's flying home every night.
however, no, I think she's on the local scene right now, and I think this is her home club right now. I would imagine she had a big result.
It will be tomorrow.
I just saw she had a big result in it was either Prague or Razdravov last year for about 100,000. So she's got some form.
She's got a bit more form now. She
Sure
guaranteed
does.
450.
I'll tell you, from what I've seen so far of the play, she has been outstanding in my mind. I mean, she has made some tough calls for big bets. She's made some 3-bet moves with zip and pip. It's very impressive. The first Party Poker Live Millions event, won by a lady. It could bring a lot more women out on the tour.
Well, it'll be the biggest prize ever won by a woman in Europe, I'd imagine.
Well, as I said, a net overstart.
And apart from, well, you're not giving great examples.
But she was only 18 at the time.
How
Remember?
much did she win, Jesse?
I think it was £1 million. It might have been more, but it was at least £1 million.
Okay,
Was the
well,
World- was the World
okay, well
Series of
then the
Poker
biggest
Europe main
win by a
event?
woman over 21. Jesus.
We'll categorise her here somehow. We'll get her in there. She doesn't really care about all that. The £1 million is impressive. The title is impressive. It'll be fantastic to see, honestly.
I think.
Okay, 14 bigs. I mean, he's going to be first to speak one time in 3, and he's pretty much got to shove everything on.
That's why you get the big bucks back.
It's getting easier. Thank God there's only 3 left. I'm not going to make so many positional
4 and
mistakes.
8. Sorry, 4 and 8. He's got 17 bigs.
Well, there is the dynamic between Jacob and Maria. Like, second prize here is 625. The winner is $1 million. I mean, they made Duke around here.
And is he setting a trap, or is it because there's still a short stack here that he wants to keep the pot small until?
It could be a bit of both.
Yeah.
But being that he's got the bigger chips, he really should have raised that, shouldn't he have?
I mean, unless he was trapping, you know. I mean, it's a very, very big hand, blind on blind. He certainly wasn't limping to fold. We know that.
Famous hand, the ace-9. Chris Ferguson took down TJ Cloutier with the 9 on the river. It's so long ago now. It's hurt.
She's got a 4
I
to
just
hit.
walked into the card room that day.
Jesus.
Just all the final table of the world. Just walked in
See Jesus get the 9.
to see that hand, yeah.
I think Mike Sexton might have been deep in that event. I'm sorry. I think Mike Sexton might have been very deep in that event. When Jesus won the, weren't you when the?
I think
Jesus
Mike
won the
Sexton
main-
might have lost a big hand with the ace-9 against the 4s.
What? Yeah, I remember that. I know. Jeff Shulman was in there.
I was in there too, Jesse. I came 16th that year, and that would be talking
Yeah, we
about
weren't.
it.
We don't care.
Yeah, I know. I know
We're
you
only
don't
thinking
care.
about it. It's 15 on down.
I knew no one else was going to mention it.
Yeah, you were dead right there.
I reckon I blew the biggest chip lead anyway.
I did forget that party. I did remember that Mike got very, very deep in that.
Yeah.
I think he got beat with ace-9 against the 4s. We'll ask him when he comes back. Yeah, just for the crack.
Well, it'll be fun to see him relive the pain again.
I doubt he'll remember it. It wasn't. He's been in so many big coups since.
Oh, you always remember your deepest run in the main event.
Yeah,
don't
of course you do.
Can you remember your deepest run at the main event?
Yeah, I was just going to mention it. There was only about 400 runners, and I think I got 360th. But it was just a deep run.
Yeah, but that late registration certainly helped you out. Well, I mean, in a few years' time, you can mention that you were in the last 360 in the main event, and quite possibly an unlucky loser. We were talking about
if I had just won that last pot, I would have had 3 big blinds. That's all I can tell you.
Okay, well, did Maria try? Maria tried to bluff that on the turn, and Jacob called just for the ace. She's going to have to find another bullet if she's going to want to take this one away. He has effectively been slow playing his hand, certainly before the flop, and he's been sticky on the turn. Not sure what the action was on the flop.
Jeez.
Well, if you hadn't been telling us you finished 16th in the World Series, you might know, mate. Not trying to be critical, but you know somebody's got to say it.
Oh, God help us if you ever try.
Parg's never gotten deeper than 16th in the main event. He would
Nah.
not bet that.
We'll talk about that now in a minute.
Not this century, anyway. Not this century.
Not this century, no.
Not this millennia.
Oh, that's harsh.
Well, okay, well, she gave up. It was a very nice try. We'll never know whether he would have called it down on the river. It would have been a tough call.
I mean, one thing I've noticed about Maria, we all noticed it, is that she does change her game plans at certain times, and I think she's taken her foot slightly off the gas.
This is because we've got a relative short stack.
Yeah,
Makes
we've
sense.
been
I mean,
trying
it's,
to
you know-
explain that to you, Jesse. I mean, if you'd only listen.
Yeah, but it's great that I mean, it's one thing to talk about it, but she's doing it. She's doing everything smart. You know, she shouldn't be, winging away bluffs right now with the short stack on.
She's
I mean, it
never
doesn't make
ever.
sense.
She's never committed all her chips to any pot. She's never committed more than half her chips to any pot, I don't think. And she's always trying to find ways to keep the pot small, unless she's got them strangled.
No, that's just
She doesn't have an ace in a million years
Yeah.
here.
Oh wow! Even once he's checked on the turn, it feels like he's got showdown value.
You know, he loves to just fire these things.
Well, if he had nothing, he'd be more likely to, wouldn't he? He pushes his edges a little bit more.
I wonder if Jeremy's prepared to have 2 pops at it. And 1 pop might not do.